The area now known as Anderson was originally inhabited by the Cherokee Native Americans. European settlers arrived in the mid-18th century, and the land was later acquired by South Carolina through treaties. Anderson was established in 1826 and named after Revolutionary War hero Robert Anderson, who was instrumental in the early development of the upstate region. It was incorporated as a city in 1833. The arrival of the railroad in the 1850s spurred economic growth and development. Anderson quickly became a hub for cotton and textile manufacturing, which were major industries in the region. Anderson earned its nickname the Electric City in the late 19th century. It was one of the first cities in the southeast to have continuous power, thanks to a pioneering hydroelectric plant built on the Rocky River. This innovation attracted more industries and contributed to the city's growth. 20th century and beyond. Throughout the 20th century, Anderson continued to grow and diversify its economy. The city played a significant role during World War II with the establishment of the Anderson Army Air Base. Post-war, the economy shifted more towards manufacturing and service industries. Today, Anderson is known for its vibrant community, educational institutions, and cultural heritage. It hosts numerous festivals and events and is part of the larger Greenville-Anderson-Malden metropolitan area. Anderson's blend of historical significance, industrial innovation, and community spirit makes it a unique and notable city in South Carolina's upstate region. Okay, now let's explore the most haunted places in Anderson, South Carolina. Construction and early history. The old Anderson County Courthouse, built in 1898, stands as a historical landmark in Anderson, South Carolina. It was designed by prominent architect Frank Pierce Milburn in the Romanesque Revival style, featuring distinctive architectural elements such as a clock tower and arched windows. For many years, it served as the primary judicial center for Anderson County, hosting numerous trials and legal proceedings that shaped the county's history. Over time, the courthouse underwent various renovations and updates to accommodate the needs of the growing community. Eventually, a new courthouse was built, and the old one was preserved for its historical value. Today, it stands as a testament to the architectural and judicial history of the area. The old Anderson County Courthouse has garnered a reputation for being haunted, with numerous reports of paranormal activity contributing to its eerie legacy. The courthouse's long history includes many significant and sometimes tragic events. Trials, sentences, and other dramatic moments have left a lingering presence that some believe contributes to the hauntings. The courthouse once held prisoners awaiting trial. Some believe that the spirits of those who experienced distress or injustice within its walls remain active in the building. The Romanesque design, with its dark and imposing interiors, adds to the building's spooky atmosphere, making any unexplained occurrences feel more ominous. Several visitors and former employees have reported seeing ghostly figures, often described as shadowy or mist-like, moving through the hallways and rooms. Unexplained frequent reports include hearing disembodied voices, footsteps, and banging noises, particularly in the courtroom and basement areas. Sudden and inexplicable drops in temperature, known as cold spots, are commonly reported, especially in areas where prisoners were once held. Some people have witnessed objects moving on their own, such as doors opening and closing or items being displaced. One of the most enduring legends is that of a former judge who is said to still preside over the courthouse. Witnesses claim to have seen a stern-looking man in judicial robes, sometimes in the old courtroom or near the judge's chambers. Another common story involves the spirit of a prisoner who died under mysterious circumstances. Visitors often report feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness or dread in certain areas, particularly near the holding cells. The old Anderson County Courthouse in Anderson is a building rich in history and shrouded in mystery. Its architectural grandeur and the many dramatic events that took place within its walls contribute to its haunted reputation. Whether one is a skeptic or a believer, the stories and reported paranormal activities make the courthouse a fascinating and eerie landmark, capturing the imagination of those interested in the supernatural and historical exploration. The stories surrounding Crybaby Bridge are as varied as the people who tell them. The very first tragedy was during the construction of the bridge. A worker tragically fell to his death. The incident occurred 13 days after the birth of his daughter. Unearthing the true history of Crybaby Bridge is like piecing together a shattered mirror. Fragments of information exist, old deeds, local records, whispered stories, but a complete picture remains elusive. The Bridge Inn was originally built in Virginia in 1919. It stood near Charleston before being moved to Anderson County in 1952. The bridge replaced an older one that had been there previously. Back then, bridges were lifelines connecting communities and offering a sense of security. But bridges could also be places of isolation, shrouded in shadow and silence. And so it was with Crybaby Bridge, its existence intertwined with whispers of tragedy and despair. Before Crybaby Bridge spanned the creek, the land held its own stories. Whispers of a past stretching back generations. Native American tribes once moved through these woods, their presence felt in the rustling leaves and murmuring waters. Later, settlers arrived, drawn by the promise of fertile land and a new life. They cleared the forests, built homes, and established communities, their lives linked to the land. But life was harsh, and death was a constant companion. The land itself holds memories, layers of history buried beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed. As the community grew, the decision was made to construct a bridge over the creek. The exact circumstances are lost to time, but one can imagine the effort involved. The bridge that emerged was a testament to hard work and ingenuity, a sturdy structure designed to withstand the elements. It stood as a symbol of progress, a tangible link between the past and the future. But even as the final nails were hammered, a sense of unease lingered. The bridge seemed to take on a life of its own, a silent sentinel guarding a secret too terrible to speak aloud. There are many versions to this story, but the most common tale associated with Crybaby Bridge. According to the legend, the story goes that a woman was deeply devastated by the death of her husband. Overwhelmed by grief and unable to cope with the loss, she decided to end her own life and that of her baby. She went to the bridge, threw her baby into the water below, and then either jumped off the bridge herself or died shortly afterward from heartbreak. It is said that on certain nights, particularly during a full moon, you can hear the sounds of a baby crying near the bridge, hence the name Crybaby Bridge. Another chilling iteration of the legend speaks of a different kind of tragedy, one born from cold, calculated cruelty. It tells of a young couple who saw their newborn child as a burden they could not bear. They decided to abandon their infant on Crybaby Bridge, believing someone would find the child. But fate had other plans. No one came for the child that night. The couple, consumed by guilt, eventually disappeared, leaving behind only whispers and speculation. Some say they met a tragic end, their lives claimed by an unforgiving fate as punishment for their sins. The legend of Crybaby Bridge isn't always centered on deliberate acts of cruelty. Some stories speak of a tragedy born from a cruel twist of fate. This version tells of a young family, their car loaded with belongings, making their way to a new life. As they crossed Crybaby Bridge, the unthinkable happened. The car skidded, plunging into the dark water below. By the time help arrived, it was too late. The parents were gone and the infant had drowned. It is said that the baby's cries can still be heard on certain nights, a haunting reminder of the tragic accident. As darkness descends upon Crybaby Bridge, so too do the shadows. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the woods surrounding the bridge, their forms shifting and disappearing as quickly as they appear. Some describe these figures as tall and imposing, their outlines barely discernible against the darkness. Others claim to have seen a woman in white, her long hair flowing in the breeze, her face pale and drawn, her eyes filled with an unspeakable sadness. She often appears near the edge of the bridge, gazing down into the murky water below as if searching for something lost forever. Whispers and disembodied voices have also been reported at Crybaby Bridge, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. Some visitors claim to have heard their names called out in the darkness, their blood running cold as they realize they are not alone. Others report hearing snippets of conversations, fragments of sentences that seem to drift up from the creek bed. their meaning forever lost to the night. Adding to the mystery are reports of electronic devices malfunctioning near the bridge. Cameras refuse to focus. Batteries drain at an alarming rate, and car engines stall without explanation. Some believe these malfunctions are caused by an unseen energy field surrounding the bridge, a surge of paranormal activity that disrupts the flow of electricity. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of Crybaby Bridge is the feeling that it's a place where the laws of nature are suspended, where reality itself seems to bend and distort. There are stories of visitors feeling an invisible force pulling them towards the edge of the bridge, an overwhelming urge to jump that they can't explain. Others describe a sensation of being watched, as if unseen eyes are tracking their every move. This feeling of being observed can be so intense that some visitors are overcome with a sense of panic, their hearts pounding in their chests as they flee the bridge, desperate to escape the unseen gaze. Adding to the eerie atmosphere are reports of cars stalling or refusing to start while on the bridge. Some drivers claim to have felt their vehicles shaking violently, as if an unseen force is trying to pull them into the creek below. These experiences are often accompanied by a feeling of dread, a sense that something malevolent is present and wants to prevent them from leaving. Whether these occurrences are the result of paranormal activity or simply the power of suggestion, there's no denying that Crybaby Bridge is a place where the line between the real and the imagined blurs. It's a place where the weight of tragedy and sorrow lingers in the air, a constant reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more hauntings from around the world.